The forest is silent, emptied of prey. Days of searching bring no herds, no rustle of life, only the hiss of wind through brittle leaves. Hunger grows heavier with each step, hollowing bodies and sharpening instincts. Beyond the trees, the river glimmers, its surface flashing like a blade in sunlight. It promises life yet carries danger. To approach may mean food or death. Drawn by desperation, they edge closer, hearts torn between fear and hope. As survival hangs in balanced dot at the river's edge, courage takes form in clumsy movements. Bare hands plunge into the shallows, chasing silver flashes that slip away faster than thought. Stones are hurled, their splashes loud against the stillness, yet the ripples return empty. Mocking their hunger, each failed attempt presses heavier on weary bodies, each laugh of the water echoing doubt. The clan gathers in silence, eyes narrowed with worry. Was this hope only illusion? The river seems alive, untamable, defying their need. Yet even as frustration grows, something stirs a quiet knowledge that persistence may one day unlock the secrets beneath the surface. Days of failure slowly turn into nights of watching. The clan begins to notice what hunger once blinded them to. Shadows in the water are not chaos, but rhythm. Fish circle where branches dip low, gather in calm pools, and return with the sunrise. Each observation strips away fear, replacing it with wonder. The river, once a mystery, now whispers patterns to those patient enough to see. A thought sparks. This world is not wild beyond grasp. It moves with laws, waiting to be read. If the river can be understood, then it can be persuaded to give life. The silence of failure shatters in a heartbeat. A hand darts, water explodes, and a silver shape thrashes against the earth. For a moment, no one breathes, then cries of triumph erupt across the riverbank. Hunger gives way to laughter, fire crackles, and flesh sizzles as the clan eats together. It is more than a meal. It is a victory, proof that patience and instinct can turn despair into hope. The river has given its first gift, and everything feels possible. One victory becomes a lesson, and soon a rhythm forms. The clan returns to the water, no longer driven by blind chance, but by memory and intent. Hands steady, eyes sharpened, they wait where the current favors them. Each catch is no longer a miracle, but a pattern understood. Fishing, once an accident of luck, becomes a skill shared, taught, and carried forward. Beside the river, survival begins to feel secure. The forests grow quieter, herds drift farther, and hunger gnaws with relentless teeth. Empty-handed returns can no longer sustain a clan, so eyes turn to the rivers and lakes, where shadows beneath the water hint at life still within reach. But bare hands fail, and desperation stirs invention. Branches are cut, stripped, and sharpened, their tips hardened in fire until they glint like purpose itself. These crude spears are more than tools. They are symbols of adaptation. In the glow of embers, a new idea takes form. Survival not through strength alone, but through thought, shaping a future where human ingenuity becomes the greatest weapon. The clan assembles at the water's edge, their breaths hushed, their reflections quivering alongside the river's surface. Elders step forward, feet sinking into the shallows, spears lifted with deliberate care. Beneath the rippling light, fish dart like streaks of silver, testing both patience and precision. Children crouch along the bank, eyes wide, their memories etching every failed attempt into lessons for tomorrow. Time stretches, tension coils until at last a spear finds its mark. The water erupts, and a wriggling fish is raised in triumph. Laughter and relief ripple through the camp. But alongside joy comes a new thought. If wood can conquer water once, sharper, stronger weapons might reshape survival itself. Watching the river closely, humans learn that fish follow paths as predictable as footprints in sand. Where currents narrow or pools grow still, opportunity hides. Reeds and vines, twisted with care, form baskets placed in the shallow, silent traps waiting for the river's gift. No longer must the clan chase endlessly. The water itself delivers food. Hours once spent in struggle are freed for gathering, resting, and dreaming of tomorrow. In patience, a new kind of power is born. Time itself becomes a tool. From sharpened bones carved with care, a revolution begins. Hooks tied to sinew lines turn the river into a source of endless possibility. For the first time, fishing extends beyond the safety of the shallows, into currents once out of reach. Nets woven from strands of plant fiber spread wide across streams, trapping not one, but many. Each tool reflects a leap in imagination, where hunger guides invention. With every cast and every haul, humans no longer chase chance, they harness it. The waters surrender abundance, and survival begins to feel like mastery. The night glows with firelight as the clan pulls in their largest catch yet. Spears, hooks, and nets have turned struggle into triumph, and the air is thick with the scent of roasting fish. Children laugh, elders smile, and hunger loosens its grip. This is no longer survival on the edge, it is security, a promise of tomorrow. Tools have given certainty to their world, anchoring families to the riverside. Here, beneath the stars, the future of humanity takes root. The pull of rivers and lakes grows stronger with each passing season. Here, water is more than a drink, it is a lifeline. Fish dart below the surface, reeds rise tall for shelter, and the open banks keep predators at bay. Families pitch their camps along the edges, at first only for a night, then for weeks, then entire seasons. At dusk, flames crackle and smoke carries the rich scent of roasting fish into the twilight. For the first time, the hunger for security begins to rival the urge to roam. Along the shore, humanity discovers not just survival, but belonging. Fishing transforms from a desperate struggle into a ritual of togetherness. Elders stand at the water's edge, their voices steady as they guide small hands, showing children how to read the ripples, how to time a cast, how to weave reeds into baskets that wait with patient silence. When the nets come back heavy, the fire becomes the heart of the camp. Fish are laid out, divided, shared not just among families, but across the whole clan. Soon, the exchange spreads further. Fish given for stone blades, hides, or flint with neighboring groups. Each catch becomes more than food. It is trust made visible. The river reveals a deeper truth: survival is strongest when carried together. Reliance on the river soon deepens into reverence. Before spears are raised or nets cast, Hands reach down to drop offerings, small pebbles, scraps of food, carved figures into the current, carried away with whispered hopes. The water is no longer just a source of fish. It is a presence, a spirit that must be respected. Rituals grow, chants echo across the banks. Patterns etched into stones mark gratitude and fear alike. With each generation, tradition binds tighter, and fishing becomes a sacred dialogue with nature. The steady pulse of rivers and lakes began to shape how people lived. Days were measured not by the sun alone, but by when the waters promised their greatest bounty. In caves along the banks, images of fish and woven nets appeared, painted with care, a record of both triumph and struggle. Around the fire, children listened as elders told stories of great catches, near drownings, and lessons carried by the current. These tales became inheritance. Over time, clans defined themselves not only by land or hunt, but by water, tools, and rituals. Fishing was no longer survival, it was identity. As generations unfold, rivers and lakes become more than resting places, they become permanent homes. What began as survival now flows into heritage, shaping customs and memory. By firelight, families share roasted fish, their laughter weaving with chants and ritual. The water that once demanded endurance now offers belonging. Humanity learns that survival is only the beginning. True identity is found at the water's edge, where community and memory take root. The river that feeds the clan also threatens to claim them. Its currents, calm on the surface, can turn fierce without warning, dragging even the strongest beneath. Children's laughter at the banks can turn to panic in a heartbeat, their voices swallowed by rushing water. Silent predators linger below: crocodiles, serpents, parasites, each hidden in shadow, each patient. Even small wounds fester into sickness, a reminder that abundance has its cost. Life and death flow side by side, inseparable, forcing humanity to respect the waters they depend on, for survival never comes without peril. Storms strike with little warning, turning calm waters into chaos. Dark clouds gather above, and the first crash of thunder sends ripples of fear through those who depend on the lake. Rafts woven from reeds and vines shatter against sudden waves, their catches lost to the depths. The wind lashes, tearing nets as if they were threads of grass. Around the fire, tales spread of fathers pulled beneath, of brothers swallowed by storms, of mothers clutching children as the current raged. Each retelling is both warning and memory, binding the community in shared loss. Nature reminds them that the water, generous in one moment, can be merciless the next, and every venture becomes a wager with fate. The river, once a lifeline, becomes a line of division. Hunger drives clans to the same banks, where glances turn sharp and words into threats. Spears, crafted for hunting fish, rise against human rivals. The splash of wars signals not just fishing, but challenge. Every catch pulled from the water is a victory denied to another. Fires of resentment burn along the shores, and what should be survival becomes conflict. Here, water offers abundance yet sparks war over its fragile promise. From hardship comes invention. Rafts once fragile are rebuilt with thicker bindings, crafted to hold firm against restless waters. Fishing shifts from solitary effort to coordinated survival. One watches the currents, another steadies the spear, while others brace to pull companions from the river's grip. Rituals weave into routine, chants whispered before departure, charms tied for protection. Each struggle leaves behind lessons carved in memory. The river still threatens, yet humans answer with caution and ingenuity, turning danger into a teacher of resilience and unity. Each loss etches itself into memory: the overturned raft, the vanished catch, the cry swallowed by the river's roar. Yet grief hardens into resilience. Fishing becomes not blind routine, but a risk embraced with caution. Humanity learns that survival is earned, not given. The current teaches them strength, forging endurance from struggle and binding courage to every cast. Along ancient riverbanks and quiet lake shores, the echoes of early survival still linger. Stone weights rest half buried in the soil, bone hooks weathered by time, and fish bones lie in fire pits where meals once fed a hungry clan. On cave walls, painted fish shimmer in fading pigments, silent storytellers of triumph and loss. These fragments reveal more than tools, they reveal a bond. Fishing was never just about hunger. It was about endurance, ingenuity, and trust in the water's gift. Each discovery lets us glimpse lives shaped by rivers, where every catch pushed humanity one step closer to progress. The story of fishing begins with spears thrust into shallow waters and woven traps left waiting in silence. Yet these tools mark only the first steps of a growing legacy. Over time, hands carve fire-hollowed logs into canoes, transforming rivers from barriers into pathways. Families now push out together, paddling beyond the safety of the shore, casting nets wide, and pulling in their shared fortune. What was once the effort of one becomes the strength of many. The boat itself rises beyond wood and fiber. It becomes a vessel of unity, of courage, of trust in one another. These fragile crafts set the course not only for survival, but for exploration, laying foundations for travel, trade, and future journeys. Rivers that once lured hunters with fleeting promise now anchor entire lives. Where fish are plentiful, wandering feet begin to still, and villages rise along the banks. Daily catches provide security, allowing families to thrive without the endless chase of game. Populations swell, and with them, traditions take root. Songs echo across the water before nets are cast, and tales of daring hauls are retold beneath the firelight. The river, once feared for its dangers, becomes the pulse of daily life. Fishing no longer feeds only the stomach, it feeds memory, identity, and the birth of enduring community. Surplus brings transformation. Nets heavy with more fish than one clan can each spark a new idea, preserve, carry, and share. Fish smoked over fires or dried beneath the sun becomes a treasure that travels beyond familiar waters. Along winding paths, it is exchanged for sharp blades, warm hides, or shimmering shells. Each trade weaves a thread of connection, binding strangers into partners. What began as hunger becomes the first economy. Rivers provide not only nourishment, but the current that carries trust, exchange, and human progress, from the muddy canals of Mesopotamia to the fertile banks of the Nile. Entire civilizations take root where water sustains both body and community. The bravery of Stone Age fishers lingers in every ripple, their struggle preserved in tools refined across ages. Each modern rod, each cast into the current, carries that ancient memory. It is the legacy of bone hooks sharpened by survival, of nets woven with hope. At the water's edge, humanity secured more than food. It discovered continuity, resilience, and the promise of tomorrow.